Hi everyone, welcome back to the 9th video of the series, and we did it guys. We're actually moving on to complex shapes. Today we're going to be drawing squares and cylinders stacked on top of each other, which will be extremely useful moving forward when we do more and more complicated shapes and anatomy work. This should be a fairly quick episode because we've done all these things before. We've drawn cylinders, we've drawn cubes. All we're going to be doing is stacking them on top of each other with a bit of help from guides and center points. So I'm just going to draw a nice short wide square at the very bottom. You can draw this at any angle and size, but I'm choosing to do quite a flat size because we're going to be stacking smaller and smaller cubes on top of it, so it's just going to make things a bit easier to see. You can probably notice that I'm going for a bit of a lighter touch today. I tend to do this when we're really just planning things out, and we're going to be going again, drawing over them with a thicker brush afterwards, so I find it a lot easier when I do sketch work. Now, once you've done your cube, I'd suggest drawing lines halfway between the edges of your cube and then joining them to the other sides. So you're essentially cutting it into quarters. And because we've done this, we can find the center point of these new cubes, and that's going to make it extremely easy to draw this new smaller cube on top of it, like so. And when it comes to the angles for this case, we're just going to be drawing them parallel to the larger cube because they're stacking on top of each other at the exact same angle. This won't always be the case, but as we're just learning, we might as well start nice and simple. Now it's your choice how tall you want to make your second cube, but I'm going for about the same kind of thickness and following the same techniques that you used on the base square. Now you can see through this cube and see the cube underneath it, and that's okay because if we were using this on a real drawing, we would just be doing a very light sketch and we'd probably be changing it anyway. We'd be cutting off more corners and just adding more complexity to it. So now that we've got our second cube done, we can do the same again and draw these bisecting lines to cut this cube into quarters as well, to make planning for our third cube a lot easier. And of course I dragged my knuckle across the page and drew a random line on it, but I think I've been doing quite well so far, and I've been doing it less and less, so I think I deserve a pat on the back. So there's our second cube, and now we're able to do center points again and draw our third, and this time it's going to be quite thin and I'm going to make it very tall. And I'm going to be using the parallel lines again and struggling to draw straight lines directly upwards. I did do warm-ups, however, I don't think they were enough today. And I can't help but think this is quite a sad day because I've just found out one of my favourite YouTubers, who I've been watching for a few years now, has just announced that he's no longer going to be making videos, so I'll have to fill that void somehow. And here is our final cube of our pyramid, and it's going to be a bit more difficult to show those parallel lines, but if you kind of hover over the ones you've drawn before, you can kind of use that muscle memory to draw those further away, which I tend to do. Now admittedly, I could have gone one step further with this and added some shading to this picture, but I forgot to do that, but I'll add it to the thumbnail anyway. We all know how to shade, but maybe it'll make it pop a bit more. But there's our first shape. Pretty simple, and it actually looks pretty impressive. And if I were to draw over that and add a bit of shading, add a bit of colour, I think it would actually look quite professional. So next is our more rounded piece, and we're going to be stacking some cylinders on top of each other. So if we just draw a ellipse freehand, do 2 lines downwards, and then follow that bottom curved line like so, that'll be our first cylinder, nice and easy. But to do the cross section for this one, it's not going to be as easy because circles only have one side. But what we're going to do is draw a dot for the center point of the circle, and then 2 lines quite far apart, and then to get the cross section, to cut it into quarters, we're going to draw that line through the center, and then the other line should be at about a 90-degree angle, which is a bit difficult to see at this angle, but if you were to look at it from the top, it'd be like 4 equal slices of pizza. Now we can still use the same approach as we did with our squares and draw those lines from the center of each pizza slice, and then we can connect them with a parallel curve from the bottom, and then just do an equal ellipse on the top, like so. And now it's finally starting to look like a birthday cake. You can then use the same approach as before and draw the lines and the central dot to cut it into 4 slices again. Now you can use this technique on, I assume, any kind of shape. However, if you were to do a triangle, I assume you'd have to cut it into thirds instead. And to finish this off and be a bit different, I'm actually going to be doing a cone. So I'm going to be drawing a line from the center all the way up to the tip of the cone, draw another oval at the bottom, at the base, however thick I want my cone to be, and I'm just going to be drawing 2 lines at the side, almost like a triangle. And to give it that depth and 3D effect, I'm going to be doing 2 more ovals going up the cone, and there we have it. And there we have the end of our video. As always, thank you again for joining me. I hope you learned something and were able to draw alongside me, and I hope everyone had an amazing day. See you all tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.